No, sir, Officer Conway. The reason I stopped you is you're doing 83 miles an hour.
No, don't lie to me.
I'm not. I have a laser.
Where? Don't lie to me.
In my truck.
Show it to me.
ID, please. I don't have to
show it to me.
Can I see your ID, please? Keep your hands on the steering wheel, please.
Dude.
Can I just see your ID? No weapons or anything in the vehicle.
No.
Okay.
No. I did not. Don't lie to me. I have camera here.
ID, not your debit card. Are you heading into work this morning?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'll be right back, okay?
Look, I need you to see this, because what I'm about to show you isn't just another viral police encounter. This is the moment, the exact second, when an entire police department realized they had just made the biggest mistake of their lives. A routine traffic stop, a black SUV, a group of officers doing what they thought was normal police work. Except the man they were yelling at, the man they were about to handcuff, the man they were treating like a criminal. He wasn't a criminal. He was the director of the FBI, the highest-ranking law enforcement official in the entire country, and they had no idea. Stay with me, because what happens next will make you question everything you thought you knew about power, ego, and accountability. Let me take you back to where this all started. It's a Tuesday afternoon, small town, quiet streets, the kind of place where nothing ever really happens. A black SUV is driving through a residential area. No speeding, no swerving, nothing out of the ordinary. But to the officers on patrol that day, something about it just felt off. Now here's the thing, and this is important, they had no probable cause, no broken taillight, no traffic violation, nothing, but they decided to pull him over anyway. The lights go on, the SUV pulls over calmly, professionally. The driver rolls down his window, hands on the wheel, just like you're supposed to, and that's when it starts to go wrong. The first officer approaches. He's young, maybe 2-3 years on the force. He walks up to the window with that swagger. You know the type. The kind of confidence that comes from a badge, not from experience. He doesn't ask for a license and registration. He orders the driver to step out of the vehicle. Now the driver, let's call him what he is, the FBI director, he's been in law enforcement for over 30 years. He knows the law better than these officers ever will, and he knows something's off. So he asks calmly, "Officer, what's the reason for the stop?" And here's where things escalate. The officer doesn't answer. Instead, he raises his voice. "I said step out of the vehicle. Now." No explanation. No justification. Just demands. The director complies. Because he knows how this works. He knows that even when you're right, even when you've done nothing wrong, you comply first and challenge later. But the officers, they see compliance as guilt. Now there are 3 officers surrounding him. One's asking aggressive questions. Another's circling the SUV, peering into the windows like he's expecting to find something. The third? He's got his hand on his belt, fingers twitching near his equipment. The director stands there, calm, composed. But you can see it in his eyes. He's processing. He's watching every move, cataloging every violation. Because here's what they're doing wrong. No probable cause, no reasonable suspicion, no Miranda rights. They're just winging it. One officer leans in close. "You been drinking today?" The director responds steady. "No, sir." "Where are you coming from?" "A business meeting." "What kind of business?" And here's where you need to understand something. The director doesn't owe them answers. He hasn't committed a crime, but he's trying to de-escalate. He's giving them a chance to back down before this becomes something they can't take back, but they don't take it. Instead, the lead officer, let's call him Officer Daniels, he gets impatient. He's frustrated that this driver isn't intimidated, isn't nervous, isn't giving him the reaction he wants. So he makes a decision that will haunt him for the rest of his life. "Turn around, hands behind your back." The other officers freeze. Even they know this is a bad call. But Daniels doesn't stop. He pulls out his handcuffs. And that's when the director finally speaks up. "Officer, I strongly advise you to check my identification before you do something you'll regret." Daniels laughs, actually laughs. "Yeah? And who are you supposed to be?" For a moment, just a moment, it seems like cooler heads might prevail. One of the other officers, a woman, maybe mid-30s, she steps forward. "Daniels, let's just run his ID real quick." You can see the hesitation in her face, like she senses something's wrong but can't quite put her finger on it. Daniels waves her off. He's stalling, probably got warrants. But the female officer persists. It takes 2 seconds. Just, let's do it by the book. And for a second you think maybe, just maybe, someone's going to stop this train wreck before it happens. The director reaches slowly into his jacket. Every officer's hand goes to their weapon. He pulls out a black leather wallet, flips it open, and hands it to the female officer. She takes it, looks at the ID. Her face doesn't change immediately, but her body language does. She goes stiff. Her eyes widen just a fraction. She looks up at the director, then back at the ID, then up again. Daniels? He ignores her, still focused on the director. Hands behind your back. Last warning. Daniels, you need to look at this. I don't need to look at anything. Daniels. Her voice cuts through the tension like a knife. He finally turns, irritated. She hands him the ID, and the color drains from his face. I want you to imagine this moment. You're a cop. You've just spent the last 10 minutes illegally detaining someone. You've raised your voice, made demands, threatened arrest, all without cause. And now you're holding an ID that says Federal Bureau of Investigation Director. Daniel's hand starts to shake, just slightly. But enough that everyone notices. The female officer steps back. The third officer, the one who'd been circling the SUV, he goes pale. The director doesn't say a word. He just stands there, hands at his sides, waiting. Daniels tries to speak. His mouth opens, but nothing comes out. He looks at the ID again, like maybe he read it wrong the first time. He didn't. I didn't. The director's voice is calm, almost kind. Run the credentials, verify them, take your time. Daniels fumbles for his radio. His hands are shaking so badly he almost drops it. Dispatch, I need you to run a federal ID. Number... His voice cracks. He clears his throat, tries again. Dispatch comes back within 30 seconds. The radio crackles. Officer Daniels, that ID belongs to... I know who it belongs to. Daniels interrupts, his voice barely a whisper. There's a long pause, then dispatch again. Sir, are you detaining him? Daniels looks at the director. The director looks back. No anger, no gloating, just patience. No, we're not detaining anyone. But it's too late, because dispatch has already flagged the stop, already sent an alert up the chain, and within minutes the radio lights up. First the sergeant, then the lieutenant, then someone from internal affairs, and finally the police chief himself. The chief arrives in less than 10 minutes. He doesn't even get out of his car right away. He just sits there, hands on the steering wheel, staring at the scene in front of him, because he knows. He knows what this means. When he finally steps out, his face is ashen. He walks straight to the director, ignoring his officers completely. Sir, I cannot begin to express... The director raises a hand. Save it. I want body cam footage from all officers, dash cam from the patrol vehicle, and I want a full report on my desk by tomorrow morning. The chief nods. Of course. Absolutely. And I assure you there will be consequences. There will be a federal investigation, the director says quietly. Your consequences are secondary. You can see the chief's jaw tighten. He's a proud man. Been running this department for 15 years, and in one afternoon, 3 of his officers have just blown it all apart. The director turns to leave, then pauses. Chief, let me ask you something. How many complaints have been filed against these officers in the last 2 years? The chief hesitates. I'd have to check the records. Check them, because I already know the answer. And if you're honest with yourself, so do you. Within 24 hours, a federal task force arrives, not as guests, as investigators. They don't ask permission, they don't schedule appointments, they walk into the police department with warrants and federal authority, and they take everything. Hard drives, surveillance footage, personnel files, complaint records going back 5 years, and what they find? It's worse than anyone expected, because this wasn't just 3 officers having a bad day, this was a pattern. Daniels alone had 17 complaints in 2 years. Excessive force, unlawful detention, falsifying reports, all dismissed, all swept under the rug. The female officer, 9 complaints. The third officer, 12. And it wasn't just them, it was dozens of officers across the department. A culture where rules were suggestions, where badges were shields, and where accountability was a joke. The FBI director ordered a full federal audit. Every case these officers touched was reopened. Every arrest, every citation, every search. And slowly, painfully, the truth started coming out. A man arrested for resisting arrest, except the body cam showed he never resisted. A woman cited for DUI, except the breathalyzer test was never actually administered. A teenager detained for suspicious behavior, except he was just walking home from school. Dozens of cases, dozens of lives disrupted, dozens of people who had been ignored, dismissed, gaslit, finally vindicated. The police chief tried to contain it. He held a press conference, talked about isolated incidents and a few bad apples, but the evidence was overwhelming. Media outlets picked up the story. It went national. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, everyone covered it. Small-town police department detains FBI director in unlawful stop. Federal investigation reveals years of misconduct. Entire police command structure under federal oversight. Lawsuits started piling up. Wrongful arrest, violation of civil rights, emotional distress, millions of dollars in settlements. The mayor called an emergency meeting. The city council demanded answers. And the FBI director? He made a decision no one saw coming. He didn't just investigate the department, he took control of it. Federal oversight, mandatory retraining, new leadership, every officer evaluated. Corrupt supervisors? Removed. Officers with repeated complaints? Terminated. And Daniels, the officer who started it all? Gone. Fired. No appeal. No second chance. Because when you abuse your badge, when you illegally detain a federal official out of ego, ignorance, or pure incompetence, there's no coming back from that. Here's what gets me about this story. It wasn't the traffic stop that destroyed these officers' careers. It was everything that came before it. Years of complaints ignored, years of misconduct covered up, years of a culture that protected bad cops instead of holding them accountable. The traffic stop was just the moment when it all came crashing down. And you know what the FBI director said before he left that police station? He looked at the chief, at the officers, at everyone who'd been watching this unfold, and he said, "A badge is earned every day. Yours was lost the moment you forgot what it stands for." Those words still echo through that department, because this wasn't just about 3 officers making a mistake. It was about a system that allowed those mistakes to happen over and over again until someone with real power finally said, enough. Today, that department is rebuilding. New leadership, new training, new accountability. But it took the humiliation of illegally detaining the FBI director for change to finally happen. And that should terrify all of us. Because how many other departments are out there right now operating the same way, waiting for their own moment of reckoning? This traffic stop changed everything. But the real question is, will we learn from it, or will we just wait for the next one? If this story opened your eyes, share it. Because accountability only works when we all demand it.